Oh, I am so ready to talk about this movie. Okay, I have been waiting to talk about this movie. Okay, but I had other videos to do before the month of October was over. I knew this one could wait. Low key felt like pretty bad that it had to wait. Okay. Also, yes, if you're wondering, new set. Yes, I am in a new area. Still in the same room. Just relocated my set a little bit. I used to be in front of the window. Now I'm to the side of the window. So I'm working with whatever best lighting I can get. Also, don't have the mic shoved in my face. Pretty great, I will say. Also, yeah, I'm not gonna talk about my set because if I do, I'll just go into it. Okay, I know I couldn't make my set look more spooky. Okay, I mean I have a Pokemon poster right here. I do have some prints, some horror prints up here, which I can get into another time. I'm not gonna get into it right now. But we are gonna be talking about Terrifier. Terrifier 2. 2. That's 4. 2. Okay. Terrifier 2. Okay. By far, best Art the Clown movie ever. Okay. His first movie, All Hallows Eve, not a lot of people know about it. Some people are aware of it, but like no one really cares enough about it. Where, you're like, Art the Clown, technically he's like the main villain in that movie, but it's not like no one really cares too much about it. And clearly because personally me, I'm pretty terrified of that movie. Okay, I was actually more terrified of that movie than the first Terrifier, and then when I saw this one I was kind of scared because I was like, yo, Art the Clown really effed me up in that one movie. Okay, and I had to watch this movie alone because my sister refuses to watch Art the Clown, so I had to be brave. I had to grow a pair, watch this by myself. Freaking loved it. Okay, I can't wait to rewatch it again because I know I have to rewatch it with my cousin because she wants to watch it too. So I am so excited, but I am gonna get into all the spoilers. Okay, I don't really care. Okay, I've seen a lot of people talk about this movie already. I haven't watched any videos about it because I didn't want to get it spoiled. But I'm gonna get into this, okay, because I just cannot do a video where I just don't address how amazing, brutal, and violent this movie is. This movie is so much more gory than the first one, and I love it, honestly. Like, I think it's like pretty fun. The first Terrifier was like, to me that was like the most like goriest movie I've ever seen in my entire life. And then this one comes in and it's like, yeah, the first one, nah. Okay, this one definitely beats it. I think this is by far the best Art the Clown movie ever. Okay, this is, in my opinion, his greatest movie, and I'm glad that this movie did make it to theaters because my boy Art. Don't know if All Hallows Eve made it to theaters because I don't remember when that movie came out, and I obviously probably wasn't even alive yet. Terrifier 1, I'm pretty sure that didn't come out in theaters because I never heard about it. I just saw when it was on Netflix, and that's where I first watched it. But then when I found out that this one was going to be in theaters, and I apparently heard, because I haven't checked because I don't usually check critics or anything like that, this movie apparently, now you can correct me and I'll definitely check afterwards, but I had heard that this movie has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Good for them, good for this movie, because it definitely deserves it. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into these spoilers. Okay, so by far, have to first note I wrote down, which I already got to, is this movie is brutal. Okay, this movie is by far one of the goriest movies I've ever seen. It had a really great opening. Okay, honestly, I need to talk about this opening. I feel like no one really, I mean, I haven't seen people's reviews on this, but I feel like no one's really talking about this great opening, from what I've heard or seen. This movie opens up great. Okay, obviously it's been a while since we've had Art the Clown. I don't remember when the first one came out. I think it came out in like, I don't know, I'm pretty sure it came out before 2018. I could be wrong, but it's been a while since Art the Clown has made an appearance on our screens, okay, in a new film. And they brought him back in such a cool way. Like, the movie opens up and it's like him like walking with his, his trash bag that he's always walking around with. And it's like two scenes. One scene is like him walking, and then it cuts to like a scene of him like attacking this like doctor or like a scientist. I don't know what he was. And then just right off the bat, brutal. Okay, we get Art the Clown, Art the Clown, Art the Clown, Art the Clown, we get a horrifying smile, which was a great opening for him because in the first Terrifier, and actually I'm pretty sure even in All Hallows Eve, actually all his movies from what I remember, the first image we see of him is him presenting a really creepy smile, which is great. I love that they kept that tradition with him. And he just goes to town on this doctor guy. Okay, I mean, like, he grabs like that little hammer thing that they like hit your knee with for like reflexes or whatever that's for. He like bashes this guy's head, and it's like brutal, and like he even like splits it open. It's whoa, you know. I was like, damn. Low key, why did Art the Clown get a better comeback opening than the Sanderson sisters? Okay, because we're not gonna talk about Hocus Pocus 2, okay, but I just feel like Art the Clown had a way better comeback than they did, okay? Love you, Sanderson sisters, but anyway, Art the Clown. So yeah, we get that opening, and then we get to a scene where he, you know, Art the Clown's costume, very white and black, you know, very basic clown costume, you know. It's not like Pennywise where it has like color to it or anything like that. Very basic colors, you know, black and white. So he gets it all bloody, which he usually always does because that's my boy. He's always, you know, getting bloody. And it cuts to him like walking to a like laundry place, like those public laundry places. And there's a guy just casually sitting there, and Art just goes full nude. Okay, so we see Art nude. Okay, not saying I wanted that. Okay, I was very unaware that that was gonna happen. I was unprepared for that, but you know, Art goes nude in this movie. Okay, so you know, he's washing his clown outfit, and he's sitting down reading the newspaper about like something that happened. I don't know if it was something that he did, you know, don't remember that. I didn't pay attention to that. We get a new character. Okay, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to talk about this new character. It's this like little girl, right, who clearly looks like she's a fanatic of Art the Clown because she has, in my opinion, she actually has a way creepier smile than Art does. Okay, I thought her smiling was like way creepier than his. Okay, and you know, she's kind of dressed similar to him, just in like a girly way, you know. I think her outfit is more of a dress, his outfit's more of just like a clown like jumpsuit or whatever. And you know, the guy, by the way, I looked up this girl, right? This little girl, Art's like new little like assistant or whatever, his new little friend. The only name that came up on, I think, Google or like Letterboxd or whatever it was that I checked was Pale Girl. Pale Girl. I mean, it makes sense, you know, she has white makeup just like Art does. Makes sense, but I felt like y'all could have given her a name. Okay, she deserved it. I freaking loved her. Oh my god, like if I could cosplay this little girl, I would, because I freaking loved her so much. Okay, so Pale Girl was amazing. And then remember I told you that when Art walked in there was a guy sleeping. I don't know if I did mention that actually. If I did, then you know, and if I didn't, then here we go. There was a guy sleeping, right? And he wakes up and starts seeing Art you know, playing with Patty Cake or whatever that game is. He plays that game with this little girl, and apparently I didn't really get this part at first. I thought it was just like, I thought she wasn't real, but some characters do see her, because this guy didn't see the little girl. Like, he saw Art just like playing by himself, you know. There was no little girl there in the eyes of this man who was sleeping, you know. So then we get to so then we like cut to Art's outfit is now clean. He puts it on and he walks away, and the guy that was sleeping is now dead. Okay, I don't know what he did that might have bothered Art. Maybe the fact that he was just there, but this guy's now dead. Okay, doesn't matter. We don't care about him. Okay, next up we have our new main like final girl, Sienna, who is great. I freaking loved her. Okay, I fell in love with her so much. Okay, I freaking loved like the character, and I loved the way the actress played her. I didn't write down the actress's name. Okay, thank God I wrote down names this time. Okay, I'm learning, y'all. I'm learning. Loved her character. I think she was just amazing. she is a pretty tough girl in this movie, and you'll see why later on. So yeah, I wrote down Sienna. She's the main girl. She has a friend group. I only wrote down one of them because only one of them is important, and that's Allie. So Allie, right? Uh, we're gonna jump a little further, okay? I'm not gonna get into the whole movie, right? So Allie, at one point, right? This is Sienna's like one of her best friends, right? So it's like I think it's Halloween day. There's trick or treaters. You know, it's during the day, by the way. This part's not at night yet. And sure enough, Art the Clown shows up wanting some candy. You know, as we all do when we trick or treat. And Allie's kind of being a dick to him, which I hated this scene so much, and I always just like hate this in a way. Like I understand some people believe that like trick or treating is like just for the kids, you know. But like, I don't know, like you see this creepy person, even if it's just a costume clown guy, he's asking for candy, he's trick or treating. Like, if you are bothered by him, you could just give him what he wants. Which at first was just candy, from what I understand. Okay, like I felt like this scene was like so bad because like Ali really didn't have the need to. There was no need for her to be a dick about this, you know. Like she was rude right off the bat, saying like, you know, he's too old for trick or treating, whatever. Like if you're bothered by him there, like I feel like just give him what he wants and that's it. But no. At one point she does, okay, because he's bothering her by like knocking on the door. He just wants his candy, you know, and she realizes, so if I give you candy, you'll leave. And he's like, yeah. And so she basically throws candy at him in like a rude way, which I felt like she deserved what she had coming. But my God, what she had coming was insane, okay? This right here, in my opinion, was the most brutal out of this movie, okay? Because Allie's death is by far the most insane death ever. And let me explain this whole thing, okay? So basically, Art slashes her face, right? I believe from her eyes, right? He slashes her face, rips off a part of her back. I don't know if it's her spine. I don't think it is, but he just like rips out her back or something, right? Rips her arm off and scalps her, right? Now, imagine this scene, okay? Art slashes her face from her eye, rips off her back, rips off an arm, a whole limb, by the way, and then scalps her. And she's still alive. I could not believe this scene, okay? She's just like still alive. She's still calling for help. She's missing body parts. She's bloody everywhere. And she's just still crawling, calling for help. I don't know how this woman is still alive, right? Now, Art eventually leaves. She starts crawling. I'm like, how are you alive, right? And then, no. Art comes back, pours bleach on her and salt, which if you're not a scientist or know basic human things, bleach and salt mixing with your wounds and all that is nah, right? Like bleach and salt, like I know salt for a fact, like it burns wounds and all that. And I mean, bleach is bleach, so we already know that, right? I'm pretty sure it can even damage like your own skin. So I mean, imagine that, right? Does that. And then Allie's mom, which doesn't have a name, she just goes by Allie's mom, comes home, sees that someone's broken in because Art got in through like the glass door or whatever, and she starts freaking out, goes upstairs, looks for her daughter, sees Art the Clown on her bed with her dead body, and he's just like playing with it, like ripping out more chunks, like cutting at her skin, doing all this, you know, he got blood all over the room, by the way. Like the whole room is covered in blood. He's like ripping out chunks of her, and she's still alive. Ladies and gentlemen, this woman deserves to be a horror villain because she's indestructible, okay? Like, you know, horror villains, especially Art the Clown, you know him, he's indestructible too. This woman deserves to be a villain. I don't know who's with me. Like, this girl is unbelievable, okay? Like, this girl has missing limbs, missing skin, is losing blood by the second, and then gets bleach and salt poured all over her, and then is still sitting on her bed, still had time for her mom to come home, check up on her, and then Art is still like cutting out chunks of her, getting her blood all over this room, and yet she's still breathing. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what to say. This death, by the way, I'm like shocked by this, you know what I mean? Like, and I would be more surprised if we later found out that she just never died, you know, because I like to assume, how do you just live off that? But to be fair, she's been living for this long, so I mean, she survived all these things that happened to her. I wouldn't be surprised if like the next movie, like she's still alive, she's like in recovery, you know what I mean? Like they just gave her Tylenol or whatever, and she's just still alive. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what to say. Someone please make her a horror villain, okay? Just please do it because I feel like I need that, you know. So that's Allie, okay? I got on this whole talk about her because I felt like I needed to. So we haven't really talked about Sienna because you know, I've been too busy dealing with Allie's death. I'm still personally processing it because it's just unbelievable. So Sienna, let me talk a little bit about her. So, you know, she's like our main girl, our main final girl, whatever. She's working on her costume, which like we get this like awesome montage of like her doing like she looks like she's like working on a cosplay or something, and her outfit was pretty cool. At first when I saw like the trailer and all that and I saw her outfit, I was like curious with the choice of costume, you know. Maybe I thought like, you know, she's into like, you know, some Wonder Woman like gladiator stuff, but it turns out that the costume, I'm glad that they like gave this like random detail, like a story, you know. Her costume is actually based on a character that her dad drew once, because there's this whole thing with like her, you know, their dad is no longer living, but he had this sketchbook where he would draw out like things, and Sienna saw this character drawn in that outfit, and Sienna just wanted to like, you know, she wanted to be that for Halloween. Do want to say though, this dad, his sketches, because at one point you do see all his sketches in his sketchbook, they're all deaths that happened in the first movie, right? So we get to see all the deaths like sketched out on this notebook, or not notebook, on this sketchbook, that were basically like, this guy drew out all the deaths that happened in the previous movie, and then the ending was a sketch of a woman who was wearing that same outfit that Sienna's working on, basically like in a victory, right? Like she just defeated the monster or whatever, and that was supposed to be like a detail at one point, that like a little hint saying that Sienna's gonna be the final girl and she's gonna kill the monster. Which monster? Obviously Art the Clown, which I was like, that's crazy, but it's cool. I'm keeping that, you know. So yeah, Sienna does her cosplay, whatever, and then she has this like nightmare of like a clown cafe. Oh my god, the clown cafe! I don't even think I wrote anything on here about that. So this is like this commercial, the clown cafe, and pretty banger song, I will say. I freaking loved the song. Like the whole time I was watching the movie, like I had that song in my head, like I just kept repeating it and singing it. This was such a good song in my opinion. Like it's literally like, I don't know, I just thought the song was a banger, you know. It's a pretty good song, I will say. If it's on Spotify, you catch me listening to that. That's a little weird, but I mean, hey, it's a good song, right? And I'm not really going to talk about that because I feel like that's you can kind of assume what happens, because that whole cafe scene is like really like in the trailer a lot, so you know, I'm sure you can imagine what happens. Um, so this dream, right? The dream catches on fire, which apparently sets off her room on fire. I don't know how that worked. Okay, this movie has some things that need to be answered. Okay, so her outfit has like wings, like angel wings, right? And they catch on fire. So homegirl has to go to like a costume store, and I think that's where she meets up with no, I think that's where she meets up with Ali. I could be wrong, okay? I think that's when we first meet her, but I could be wrong. And we get this funny scene with like Art the Clown messing with her and messing with the store employee, which I'm sure you've seen in like clips or like the trailer. We get this like funny image of him wearing like sunflower glasses, which I actually have that image right here. If you can see that I these prints, by the way, I didn't talk about these prints. These are all like wholesome, like comforting pictures. Art the Clown in sunglasses, sunflower sunglasses, is the most wholesome and comforting thing in my opinion. Okay, so have that there. Gonna probably have that there forever. It's the most comforting thing ever. I thought it was so great. I thought it was funny, and I loved it. And yeah, so gonna be moving forward. We're gonna be talking about someone else now, which is oh, by the way, Sienna has a brother, right? A brother named Jonathan. Gonna talk about him in a sec. Sienna's mom, she sucks. Okay, if you heard me talk about other movies in my other videos, you would know that I always address the characters that suck. For instance, in my last video I talked about the movie Dash Cam for a little bit, and I mentioned that the main girl sucked in it. Okay, I hated her. This character by far is like the most unbelievable, like most hated character, mom character ever. Like if you've seen a movie and there's an annoying mom in it, I don't think any mom competes with this mom, okay? Because this mom is insane. She sucks, okay? Like, and it's weird because like most of the scenes where like she makes you hate her are like scenes that have to do with Jonathan, right? The little brother, right? So apparently Jonathan wanted to be Art the Clown for Halloween. Living in this world, who wouldn't want to be? But in their case, in their universe, Art the Clown is a legitimate serial killer, okay? That's like this Halloween, how there was kids dressing up like Jeffrey Dahmer. Not okay, but it happened, like it's just like it looks bad on you. And essentially like the mom wasn't comfortable with it, like Sienna wasn't really comfortable with it, but they were like, whatever. He wanted to be Art the Clown, a legitimate serial killer, which I guess now realizing that was pretty weird. But I wrote down some things about him because apparently not only did he want to be Art the Clown, but he's also like really into like he's really interested in like true crime, basically, like which a lot of us are. I mean, it's a very serious topic, and I know it's like disturbing to a lot of people, especially like if there's victims out there, like families of the victims. I understand that. A good majority of people though like absolutely love like crime documentaries and stuff like that, and so he's just one of them. Okay, like he's one of you guys, basically, like a fanatic of uh serial killer, true crime stuff. And apparently the mom takes that a little too far, because we get to a scene at the school, basically, and oh my god, okay, I need to talk about her. I need to shout her out because I freaking love her. Felissa Rose, my queen, is in this movie. Okay, I couldn't believe it at first. Like that was one of those things that I'm glad wasn't spoiled for me, because even though it's not a big detail, oh my god, my queen, I love her so much. Okay, so she's in this movie. I'm pretty sure she's like the teacher or the principal, whatever. um but Jonathan's like friends or like classmates, they find a dead possum, and they try to just like mess with it. It's dead, obviously. And then at one point when they're in class, Jonathan like steps out for a sec, I think to the bathroom or whatever. I don't remember what he stepped out for, and sees Art and Pale Girl just in the hallway, like just playing, right? He's freaked out. And oh my god, this is another thing, by the way. I didn't write this down, but for some reason in this movie, every single character that like ran into Art the Clown or any disturbing stuff like that, well, it was mainly with Art the Clown. Everyone just stood there in shock. Like, why would you not? Like, I don't know how. I mean, I guess I can understand like if you reacted in a way that you didn't want to, or you just don't have a reaction. Like you're in so much shock that you just don't know how to react. But everyone just stood there. Everyone who like ran into him or like saw him, you know, like Ali, for example, when she found out that Art was in her house, she just stood there staring at him. And Jonathan also saw them in the hallway, and he just stood there. And I'm sure other characters did too. I just didn't write that down. I just really wanted to point that out. Like, why was everyone just standing there? Like, I just felt like I wouldn't have that reaction. Like, I don't know. I feel like I'd be more scared to just like get out, you know? I wouldn't personally be in shock to the point where I'm just standing there. But hey, I don't know how that works, okay? Um, Sees them playing. They see him. They throw the dead possum at him. And then the school basically thought that he's the one that killed the possum and he's the one that, you know, brought it into the school. So then they get him in trouble, and their mom finds out, and she is just like so mad at him, right? Which, like, you know, if that was the case, like if your kid was playing with a dead animal in school, I feel like we would too. But like this mom just like straight up like blames it on this whole like his like his obsession with like knowing about serial killers. At one point she literally calls him the Zodiac killer. Like she literally calls him the Zodiac killer, and even calls him a serial killer at one point. Like she's just like so mad that like she's calling him these names and all that. And it's just like, oh my god, like I hated this character so much. And then there was a part later on where their mom was, I think, gonna step out or whatever, but Jonathan at one point like leaves the house, right? Like he dips because he just like couldn't with his mom right at the moment, and sees that her car is just like completely like trashed, right? So she blames that on him too, and then goes to clean it. Who's in the car? My boy Art the Clown. Shoots her right in the head, and it's just like, I don't know. I felt like she's one of those characters that you just really wanted to die because, my god, this character, I just couldn't with this character anymore, you know? So Art kills her. That's all good. Jonathan at one point gets kidnapped, and for a second I thought he died, right? Like I thought he legit died, and no, turns out he wasn't. He was just knocked out. Sienna you know, gets a phone call from him, but it's actually not even him. It's actually Pale Girl calling him, calling her. I'm sorry, calling her with like she's mimicking his voice, right? Which I thought was cool because, you know, we don't really see Art the Clown talk. We don't see her talk, but then when we did, she can mimic voices. I thought that was pretty interesting, right? So she gets a ride from another one of her friends who also sucks, but I just didn't write her name because I didn't feel like she was much of a character. And so Sienna gets led to this like amusement park or what, like this like haunted house type of thing. This is actually kind of interesting. You know, like I said with the what was like with Sienna's costume, little details have a meaning to it, right? And so this one, I found it interesting that we actually got the name of the title of the movie. So when Jonathan, but it's actually, you know, Pale Girl, is calling her, she tells her that he's in the Terrifier, which is like like a maze thing at this like amusement park. I just felt the need to mention that. Um, and Sienna kind of has this like battle with Art, and it's like intense, you know. I didn't really write down much of like the ending, by the way, so I'm just going based off memory. Okay. So she has a battle with him. He wins at one point, but then she gets back up, and then she goes down again. She gets sent to like hell at one point, but then she has this like heroic, it's kind of a cheesy moment. I'll be honest, I thought it was kind of like cringy but cheesy, and like it was kind of fun, I guess, at one point where Sienna gets back up again, and she's this like heroic person, and she has this like sword that goes with her costume, which looks like it was something out of He-Man, where like she just like got like super strength from it. I don't know, it was kind of cool. um and I didn't mention this too, but I don't know, I wrote this down, so I guess I'm gonna mention that Pale Girl at one point cuts out her eyes, and then later on has them again. Just felt the need to mention that. I don't know why I had to mention that, but I just wrote that down. um so yeah, Sienna does a real number on Art. His death, well, his death, right? They think he's dead. We all know he's not, right? Was surprisingly not that brutal, which I'm not saying I needed it to be, but I'm just saying, like, for Art being a brutal person, I mean, you know what? I guess it makes sense because no one's as brutal as Art, you know? So if anyone was gonna make his death really brutal and disgusting, it was gonna be himself. But yeah, he gets decapitation, which we didn't get. I thought for a sec we did, but in the last movie he shot himself in the head. He lived through that. And in this movie, after he's decapitated and like Sienna's like the heroine of this movie, Pale Girl comes out. This is when she comes out with her eyes again, and she just takes his head, walks away. So we didn't really get to see much of a battle scene with her. I'm hoping for the next movie we kind of do bring her back. I hope we bring her back. Please bring her back, okay? We need more of this girl, and please give her a name. I don't know if she does, but I clearly saw online her name is Pale Girl. I didn't like that, okay? Please give her a name, okay? If not, we're gonna have to come up with one, and you know Reddit is gonna, you know, petition that. And I don't, I'm acting like if I'm a Redditor, like I'm not, but you know. So then the movie ends with Sienna saving Jonathan. Mom's dead. Her friends who drove her there are dead. How did they get out? Beats me. I don't know. But we do get an end credit scene, which I was excited for because I always wait for the end credits just in case. We get an end credit scene with Victoria, the survivor from the first movie, okay? And she's in like a psychiatric hospital, if that's what you call it. I'm sorry if I butchered that. So she's in one of those, and we get this like weird scene of her. It looked like it was trying to like let us know that like she's like writing slurs on the wall with like her period blood, but turns out she gives birth. I was like, what's going on? Why she who made this woman give birth right now? She gives birth to Art's head. Cheesy, I know. I don't understand why they did that, but they did. It was basically just them letting us know that Art's coming back, which we all kind of knew, okay? Because if you're someone who's on Letterboxd like I am, you would have seen that Terrifier 3 coming real soon. I hope it's either just as bloody as this one or even worse. I feel like they might go worse because they did, you know. I thought the first one was like the most goriest thing I've ever seen, and then they came out with this one. By the way, this movie was so gory. I'm sure you've all heard about this. This movie, like I said, was in theaters. A lot of people were leaving the movie theater because of how disturbing it was. People were leaving, people were vomiting, and then people were fainting as well, which I was like, yo, this movie is, oh my god. Like it was honestly weirdly pumping me up. I was like, yo, that just means this movie is brutal, okay? And it was. I have a feeling that the third one might be worse, but if it's just as brutal as this, I can live with that, because Art the Clown is known for being violent and very brutal, so why would I not like him to continue that, you know? But yeah, Art the Clown is coming back. Look forward to that, like I am, okay? If you guys ever want me to revisit the first one, because I haven't seen that movie in so long, let me know in the comments. You know, it won't be as long as this video. This is by far my longest video. I just had to talk about this movie because goddamn, I have been waiting so long to talk about this movie. Okay, so thank you for having patience if you've been waiting for this one. And you know, like I said, let me know if you want me to see, if you want me to review his past two movies. I will gladly do them for you guys. If you want me to revisit them, I did a ranking on my letterbox, so if you guys are interested in checking out my letterbox in general or my Instagram or TikTok, you know, go link in the description, and has a link to all of my links. Check that out. If you want to see my ranking for the Terrifier or the Art the Clown movies, and also let me know which movie on my letterbox you want me to cover next or revisit, or if you want me to talk about any of my rankings on there, because I do have lists of rankings. So check that out. Let me know in the comments. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.